Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Enters the Lab podcast. Enters the Lab podcast. Look, we're finally here. We finally here. I'm telling you right now, I'm very excited. We get football tonight and forever until February. I'm about to shed a tear. I'm about to shed a
Ooh,
tear.
you in tears?
I'm about to shed a
You're in
tear.
tears.
Oh, football's here.
We
Look,
made it.
5 days of football, y'all.
but look, it's your favorite crew. Enters the Lab podcast. The Thursday night football edition, first football game of the year. We about to kick it off. It's time to enter the lab.
My fault. What happened? I'm eating Popeye.
This man says eating some Popeyes. Commercial.
I'm ready for a break.
Save this clip.
Wipe your hands. Wipe your hands.
Commercial.
We over here about to die thirst over here.
Thing on the menu today, bro, and that's work. That's work for 60 minutes, bro. That's the only job we got to do today, bro. What you playing for? What you playing for? What you playing for? What y'all?
Get real lonely with the mic on, bro. Just want to talk to my friends.
What is up, everybody? This is Enters the Lab podcast, the season opener edition. Yes, we are going live way before the game gets started for the Ravens and the Chiefs football game, first football game of the year, and we also have a Friday game tomorrow. Like, it is so lit right now. What is going on, family?
Man,
I'm good. I mean, we didn't had an exciting weekend of college football last Saturday. Now it's time for the NFL to join into the game. And after this, we got football all the way until February. Let's go.
it's here, man. It seems like we've been doing show after show after show, talking about what's going to happen, what's going to happen. And we are finally here. There are 0 sleeps left. We're going to see a wonderful game tonight, man. And I just can't wait, man. Great show for you guys tonight.
I'm so happy. Enough of the tears. Let's go ahead and get started with the show. Couple of book note things. We want to touch a little bit on what happened week 1 of college football. Then we're going to get to the main treat. It is NFL. This is a national holiday for everybody. The NFL is back with the first game of the season. But let's recap just a slight bit with what happened week 1 of college football. So we've seen a lot of crazy games. We've seen a lot of dominating victories, and we also see some newcomers stepping up and showing the college football world what they're made of.
Yep.
Let's go ahead with some winners and losers already in week 1.
Shout out to them Georgia Bulldogs. Enough said. Oh, and shout out to Boston College. You know, I got to represent Matt Ryan's old alma mater. So shout out to Boston College.
Hey, listen, listen, on that note, I'm gonna go right to the losers bracket. Florida State. You know what? This whole start that we have going on this season has basically erased everything that happened last year. I mean, y'all fugazi. I'm just saying, but you know, it's early in the season. Maybe it's going to be a quick turnaround, a bounce back. Maybe you guys will run off 10 straight. But right now, I'm thinking that there's a huge fraud alert for Florida State.
Oh man, look, I'm gonna be real. When we're talking about losers, it's definitely Florida State. To start off 0-2, one neutral site game, and then you come home and play a scrappy Boston College team, and just to see them get manhandled like that, it's almost like as if they still playing Georgia. To be quite honest,
we broke them.
They have their starters out there, so I'm definitely disappointed in what Florida State has shown so far, and yeah, that's really it. That's really my biggest loser.
I do want to focus on that because again, the excuse was they didn't have their starters. They went into the portal. They got DJU. They came back and got a couple of guys from Alabama, a Georgia boy, and a couple of other linebackers. And I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. I mean, we already know what DJU is about, but we were giving him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he has grown. But again, you can't compare the Pac-12 to the ACC. And let alone, I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of these ACC teams really have stepped up their game. Besides Clemson, a lot of them went into the portal, ultralized the portal. And I mean, that's why you're seeing teams like Georgia Tech, like a Boston College, even though Virginia Tech did lose against Vandy. But,
I still like Tech.
I was like, I still like that. You know what I'm saying? So right now, Miami looks like the clear-cut favorite moving, for this season. But at this point, I will say the ACC is anybody's game at this going rate.
I'm sorry, and you brought up Miami, Florida, not Florida, that's Florida State, Florida. Y'all look pretty bad too. Florida.
Yeah.
They told us that they were back, so I don't know.
I tried to tell y'all about Graham Mertz. I saw him for years here in the Big Ten at Wisconsin. He ain't it. That's all I got to say.
So, speaking of the state of Florida, look, I want to go into my winners. I think the winners are. I should put them in this group as the OG Big Blue Bloods, and that is Miami, USC, and Notre Dame. I felt like they had 3 good, impressive victories over the weekend. I think the most impressive victory to me was USC. I mean, we had a lot of questions about, their defense, and they're going up against an LSU team that has put up historical numbers once again with another quarterback. They lost their quarterback, they lost offensive coordinator, but they still had a lot of players. And for them to see them play like the old USC, I'm not saying that the old USC defense, with Pete Carroll, them defenses he had were nasty, but for them with Dayton Lynn to match physicality with LSU and to come up with major plays in that game to keep the offense in the game, because to me, I felt like Lincoln Riley called a very uneven game once it got to the second half.
Yeah.
That defense came and heard all the noise, and they came in against an LSU team and got a victory. And that could be a huge benefit, not only in the Big Ten, but also to currency for LSU, as they're in a much deeper SEC conference with Texas and Oklahoma and Ole Miss. Alabama looked pretty good their week 1, and of course Georgia. So I was very impressed with the OG Blue Bloods I saw this week.
Yeah. Shout out to Notre Dame. That game with them and Texas A&M was a slugfest. It remained even majority of the time. Until they came out there. So shout out to Marcus Freeman for getting his guys together, because I'm not gonna lie to you, playing down there with the 12th man and Texas A&M is not an easy feat. Let alone, we put a lot of pressure on Notre Dame because of them being independent, them not being in the conference and in their schedule. So we put a lot of pressure on them, and they got them going into possibly the Final Four and the top 12 of the playoffs this year. So. I mean, that's a good win. That's a good win underneath their belt. But I like the old-fashioned slugfest, and you got to pull it out at the end. So I like that. That was a good game.
Yeah, all good wins. Notre Dame, that's probably Coach Freeman's most signature, his biggest win or most signature win that he's had since he's been there on the road over an SEC foe. Big win for USC. I didn't expect that. I didn't know what to expect from them. Being that they had to replace a few players offensively, namely Caleb Williams. Same thing with LSU having to replace JD5 and those 2 wonderful wide receivers that they have. So, good wins, great football to start it off. I think we definitely have to give it a couple of weeks, because I think that there's gonna be a couple other fraud alerts out here, and we got to see, give it a couple of weeks to see really how good these teams are, because there is so much turnover now. Not only the folks that are graduating and going to the league, but the portal, man, it's just like a free for all in there. Yeah. So a lot of turnover on these teams.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, most definitely. it's still week one. We're heading to week two. We got a couple more key matchups, but we'll save those matchups for another day because look, it's the NFL. Like NFL is coming back tonight, and let's go ahead and look at these divisions. Let's start off with the AFC East. That is Lady E's favorite Virginia because she truly despised the Buffalo Bills.
Mm,
No,
Lady E, take them Bills.
So,
yeah.
so what do we think about the Buffalo Bills this year? We know they're in the AFC East with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers coming back. Tua Tagovailoa, and that offense is once again reloaded. Some questions about the defense, was especially at the edge rushers. A couple edge rushers
Mhm.
that with some injuries, still trying to recover. And of course, New England, no more Belichick. They have Jerome Mayo as the head coach, and they drafted Jake May, who's going to be sitting for probably a couple of games, I suspect, because
Mhm.
I understand, with Elliott Wolf, he comes from the Green Bay Packers, the philosophy of sitting young quarterbacks, but I just don't think it will probably last that long. But overall, what do we think about the AFC East and the Buffalo Bills?
They're gonna have a tough fight this year. I don't really see it being a cakewalk for them. Allen got to get used to, new wide receivers. Got to get used to a lot of things on that offensive line. Defensive line, like not defensive line, but defense as a whole. I feel like they're okay. I feel like they're just, we're in the average pack and can get better over the season, but right now I feel like the Bills will be in the middle of the division. I don't see them coming off at top. I'll be honest with you. If Aaron Rodgers comes back like Aaron Rodgers comes back, then yeah. I just can't see it for him right now. I mean, you got a rookie in Kenneth Coleman. I love Coleman. I really do, but how much can Allen trust him?
For me, I think it's a 3-team race. So I don't think New England's going to be a big time factor in this division. I look at Miami; they took a lot of losses on their offensive line. I don't know really how good Well, I expect them to be pretty good offensively, but I don't know how efficient they're going to be. Will they be able to run the ball as well as they did last year? Will they be able to get 20 touchdowns out of Mostert out of that run game? I just don't know. Defensively, you spoke about a couple of their guys who went down with injuries. Jalen Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
And Bradley Chubb. Supposedly those guys are back and playing relatively early for them, so they're going to provide some of that pass rush. But I don't know who's playing linebacker for those guys. I don't know who they have in the defensive backfield. I do know that Jalen Ramsey is dealing with some injuries right now, and I don't know if he's going to play this week. So a lot of change going on. Then you talk about Buffalo. They lost their two leading receivers in Gabe Davis and Diggs. A little bit of turnover on that defensive side of the ball. I will give them some grace though, because their coach was a great defensive coordinator before he became the head coach over there. He's been able to put together very, very, very solid defenses there. And again, Josh Allen, basically, he's been crowned the second best quarterback in the league, and we're going to really, really find out how good he is this year with a lack of weapons, if you will. I like Coleman. I think Curtis Samuel is a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Khalil Shakir, apologies on the name, my brother. But I just don't. I look at him more so as a complimentary piece. I don't know if he's a go-to guy. So, in the division, if we have to pick the winners, I like A-Rod. I think what they've done on paper and the Jets is great. But I'm not hearing the best things out of their locker room. Not that I'm connected or anything, but I'm not hearing that everything is a cohesive unit. I don't like that they have this Hassan Reddick situation kind of hanging over them a little bit. But if I have to say who has the best roster, I think the Jets narrowly beat out Buffalo. But I think Buffalo, because of their cohesion, the chemistry, and their coaching, is still the best team in there. But to E's point, it's going to be a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you both make very compelling and interesting points. I definitely believe the biggest question I have is we also talk about the locker room with the Jets, but Because Aaron Rodgers, we only saw him for 4 plays last year. I mean, how
We
much
did.
I think to me he'll be back, but it still remains to be seen. He's going to be playing with a couple games, and this AFC has bolstered up a little bit while he was out and about. The Jets, to me, I do agree with you, C. Henry. I do agree. If we're looking at just edge of talent, I'll slightly take the New York Jets right now over the Buffalo Bills. But when we're talking about winning the division, I definitely think it's going to be a 3-man race. It's probably going to come down to the last week of the season. Somewhere week 18, a critical home game, maybe at Miami or in New York or in Orchard Park. So to me, this is going to be crazy, man. But I'm going to take the Jets to win the AFC East. I think obviously they have the best defense with Aaron Rodgers, getting Garrett Wilson, getting that connection going. Breece Hall, he's one of the best budding young stars at running back. And I think, running the football, play action. And I think Mike Williams, hopefully he stays healthy and provides some uses on the outside. So I would probably lean with the Jets this year for the AFC East title.
Okay. All right. I don't think that's too
So
far.
I mean, I think that's kind of where everybody else is leaning right now, currently, until games are played. We'll have this discussion back when I see y'all in week 6.
All right. We're going to move forward to the AFC North now, which one of the teams, the Baltimore Ravens, will be playing in a couple of minutes. But a lot of new faces in the AFC North. Lamar Jackson coming off a second-year MVP award, but also came short in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City Chiefs. Russell Wilson now is in Pennsylvania with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joe Burrow's coming back from injury, but a couple of young wide receivers, trying to dime for the little bit of a contract talk within Cincinnati. And also you have Cleveland, year 3, I should say, with Deshaun Watson. And to me, it's a very, and I mean very critical year for the Cleveland Browns, trying to see what they have in Deshaun Watson and this young roster with a lot of defensive talent they had last year, but also showed up short in the AFC wildcard game against the Houston Texans. Family, how do we feel about the AFC North? Do we think Joe Burrow, obviously, we know a couple years ago he was in the Super Bowl. Is he the best quarterback in this division or the second best quarterback in the NFL overall against Lamar Jackson? Or do we think this is Lamar's division to lose?
I will go with the latter. It's the Lamar's division to lose. This is a knockout, drag, fun fest division. I know right now the Steelers are kind of going through because we're us as Falcons fans, we're really watching what's going on over there with Pittsburgh. So Russell is still dealing with a calf injury, so Fields might be starting. Fields might be in on more plays of things, but we might get a stationary Russ. So the main question is, how far can Russell take Pittsburgh? I mean, their defense is still stout. They you know what I'm saying? They didn't really lose anything on their defense. Defense is still going to be stout. We got a bet going on how long will it take for George Pickens and Arthur Smith to get into a physical fight. When it comes down to it, how good is Arthur Smith when it comes down to that offensive side of the ball, especially after seeing what he did in Atlanta for 3 years. So there's kind of a little bit of a question marks going on with the Steelers. Browns, they're getting Nick Chubb back, but how do we know if that's the same Nick Chubb once they actually release him out for IR and let him play? Deshaun Watson, I do agree. This is a very, very, very critical year for him. Like, is this the Deshaun that was in Houston, or have we had the time flown past and this is not, what it's supposed to be? So there's that question mark. I'm not worried about their defense. I'm not worried about their playmakers. I'm worried about the QB. Like, what Deshaun are we going to see this season? Again, Ravens are the Ravens. It's their division to lose if they plan on winning it again. But with Joey Burrow coming back, I feel like that's going to give them competition. They did add some good playmakers. Their defense is looking, still the same to me. I don't see any major drop off from them. But other than that, it's Lamar's division to lose.
I'm in agreement with you. I think all 4 teams probably have the roster, the talent to probably win. I think maybe I shouldn't say not Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is the least talented of all the 4 teams, but they all have a little bit of little areas they need to improve on. We don't know what Deshaun Watson is going to show up for Cleveland. Pittsburgh, we don't know which Russell Wilson is going to show up. We don't know who's going to, if they can develop a wide receiver opposite of George Pickens. They lost Deontay Johnson this offseason, so who's going to pick up the slack in that receiving game? When you look at Baltimore, Lamar is great. They have a strong defense. They have some young pieces, some young pillars, if you will, on the defensive side of the football. But can they find a true number 1 receiver to complement Lamar in that passing game? So a lot of moving pieces there, but I think, again, on paper, I think Lamar is the best team. Baltimore is the best team. Lamar possibly is the best player, and they probably have the best coach in that division. So I'm going to go with I almost said Lamar's again. The Baltimore Lamars.
So, okay, I have a quick question for you guys, though, because we talked about Pittsburgh style. Obviously, there is some discrepancy in how they're looking at certain spots on their team. But when you look at between Cincinnati, Baltimore, and the Browns, who do you think is the most talented out of those 3 teams? Because to me, when I look at Cleveland, I feel like they have legit almost everything, but the one player that they're waiting on has been Deshaun, and you've seen Joe Flacco come in. He fit our offense in. He came in and gave him a run, play within that offense. And I know there's different things with Deshaun, but so far it's kind of been up and down. I've legit only seen 2 games of Deshaun being Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland definitely has a great roster. Playoff caliber roster, maybe even Super Bowl caliber roster. But again, we have to see the emergence and not the emergence, because he's already emerged and been a great player in this league. But he has to get back there. Watson has to get back to where he was when he was in Houston. Can he get back there? That's the big question. Cincinnati, though, is a very, 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 very interesting team because I think offensively they may be the most talented. They have the big time playmakers and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and we like the points, we like the big plays, we like the touchdowns and Burrow. But I think what's really been underestimated is the loss of Joe Mixon in that offense, and also the injury that Joe Burrow had to that wrist. I mean, my understanding is that I'm not a doctor, but it's my understanding that injury is one that we don't really see very, very often. There's been a lot of limited research, if you will, on this injury to see kind of how he rebounds. So it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back from that injury. They've got offensively, they're very, very explosive, but I don't know how good their defense is.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with, I really do. I agree with Henry. If we're looking at it from that standpoint, you can give that edge to the Browns, not the Browns, the Bengals, the Bengals. You can give them that edge over there, but I'm gonna still go and stand on this. If Lamar can play, and I'm not gonna say a perfect season, if he can play a season that can help his team at the end, because we all know that last bit of the schedule for the whole North is almost like it's a bully ball at that point. It's it's treacherous at that back end. So again, if Lamar can keep his head on straight and do it, it's his division to lose. I mean, again, I do agree with Henry. If Joey's wrist is not what we think it is, or anything like that, then yeah, I can see things going south for the Bengals. But the whole division as a whole, you can't sleep on any of the teams, even the Pittsburgh Steelers. You cannot sleep on anybody. So it's this division is going to be all eyes on it once again, especially when it comes into that back end, that back half of the schedule, when they're all playing each other within 3 weeks.
Yeah, most definitely. This is one of my favorite divisions to watch. Obviously, well, because one, my brother, he's a Ravens fan. Don't ask about that, how that happened. But look, this division is going to be fun, very exciting. Like I said, for the AFC East, with those 3 teams competing, this division also going to come down to the last week, or maybe probably somewhere around week 14. We've seen, Baltimore has done it multiple times during the Lamar stretch. But if I had to bet on it, man, I would definitely bet on Baltimore coming back on top in a very tight race between Cleveland and the Cincinnati Bengals. But I do believe 3 teams from this division will go in the playoffs.
Okay. I might be with you. I got some wild cards over here. I might be with you. Yeah, okay. All right.
Really slim. All right, let's go ahead and get to the AFC South. Houston Texans had the Cinderella story. They went from worst to first with CJ Stroud, D'Amico Ryan's first year in the division. But you also have a couple of young guns as well. This is probably, should we say this is like the youngest quarterback division so far? I mean, you got Will Levis, you got CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Trevor Lawrence also in that division. This is a real interesting division because I know a lot of people have talked about the run Houston has did, but I also want to bring this up. Jacksonville Jaguars were at least at 9 wins somewhere around week 15 and 16, but second half of the season they started to shatter, and which made them lose the number 1 spot in the AFC South. Meanwhile, you have a brand new coach with the Tennessee Titans who now leaves from the Cincinnati Bengals, Brian Callahan, to coach up Will Levis in a new look offense without King Henry, who will now be playing tonight with the Baltimore Ravens. And now we also have the Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson. They were in a tight battle without Anthony Richardson with Gardner Minshew. Went down to the last week against the Houston Texans to win the AFC South. So this is definitely a fun division as well. But should we assume that the Texans are going to run away with this division with all the talent they acquired?
They're going to have some competition.
Yeah.
They're going to have
I think it's hard to, I don't want to say run away with it. I think they win the division, and I don't want to say handily, but I think they win it comfortably, at least 2 games or so. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of competition amongst the other teams in this division. I really, really like what Tennessee did over the offseason. They got better in a whole lot of different ways. Brought over Tyler Boyd. You brought over L'Jarius Sneed. You brought over Calvin Ridley as well. So you kind of helped your defense as well as your offense, put some weapons around that young quarterback. Have a couple pieces there. Brought over Tony Pollard as well. So they're a tough team, man. And then, Indianapolis, they were looking tough last year while Anthony Richardson was playing. Small sample size, only played 3 games, but they look like a tough team as well. And who else did you say? I'm having a blank. Who else is in that division?
Colts, Texans, Jaguars.
Oh, Jaguars. Yeah. A lot of folks, think that they're, going to be a playoff team or a playoff caliber team. So very, very interesting division. I think Houston, though, does win it in maybe by a couple of games. So comfortably. They may be sitting their guys week 18.
Okay. What do you think, E? What do you think about this division? This y'all cousins.
This ain't my cousins. I ain't related to none.
Hey, the show.
But no, like I said, I do want to see what the Tennessee Titans have with Will Levis, with the new coach. Without Derrick Henry, I do kind of want to see exactly where this team stands. We already know I love the additions that the Houston Texans have made, especially bringing Hunter in on that defense and bringing in Joe Mixon. So I do love that down there. I just want to send a shout out. If y'all want to let Mechie go, bring him to Atlanta, please. And thank you. Just saying. But they're stacked over there as far as wide receivers go. Like, I love the Houston Texans. I love it. It's going to be a very fun seeing year 2 of CJ Stroud. Jaguars. I'm going to say this about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm ready for Trevor Lawrence to show me what everybody has said Trevor Lawrence to be. I'm ready to see that with him. I have not seen that with him. His division got tougher, so it's not easier anymore. It is now tough. So yeah, that you can't get away with lackluster no more in this division. And after this year, if I don't see anything, I'm just gonna just start calling him Sunshine.
I need Trevor to do something too this year. Trevor, listen here, man. Check this out, Trevor. Check this out here, man. This is our pep talk for the season. Listen here, man. I mistakenly somehow, some way got stuck with you and Aaron Rodgers on one of my fantasy teams as my quarterbacks. I waited just a little bit too long. You know what I'm saying? I over calculated, you know what I'm saying, and underestimated and got left with you. So I need you to have the year of your life. You and A-Rod, baby, to lead us to victory. We still gonna compete, but I need you to step your game up, baby. This your year, baby. Sunshine it is. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. And I mean, like, no, seriously, I do want to see that. And I'm excited to see Anthony Richardson. We only got to see him 4 games before his injury. So I do want to see Anthony Richardson to see where he can take this Colts team, because I believe this Colts team is very talented on both sides of the ball. So I am excited to kind of see what the Colts do. So I'm not going to say this is a knockout drag division, but this division is going to be very, very interesting and I think very fun. So it's going to be a very decided division to watch, honestly. You got a lot of young talent over there.
Oh, man, it's raining at the game.
That's why I said I think they're in a delay, to be honest with you. I just text Jody and like, hey, y'all all right?
Okay, so with this division, I've seen a lot of makeover things have come along, and the one person that I have always questioned was Trevor Lawrence. He really had one good season out of the 3 to 4 he has been. This division has basically caught up. I still have questions about Tennessee, new coaching staff, new players in that organization, and possibility of if Will Levis will be the guy of the future. They give him an opportunity this season. And also Anthony Richardson, for the shortest of time he played, he looked pretty good, but now we're praying that he can get that 17-game sample within this cycling offense with Jonathan Taylor, new look wide receivers, defense making plays and stuff, but all eyes point to Houston. CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. That trio looks to be fantastic. Getting ready to play on Sundays. That defense, the amount of defensive players they added in year 2, and even a guy like Stingley made some plays for them last year. So it's a make or break year for the Jaguars to me. Like I have a lot of pressure on them. And I had a conversation with a lot of Jaguar fans, specifically my girlfriend, because she tells me about them a lot. I just have to see it. And the way they ended the second half of the season last year, it was very disappointing because, you know, you saw the talent, looked like about to run off of it, but then the Texans came second half of the season and got that win. So with that being said, I think this is Houston's division this year, once again. I think they're going to take the bull by the horns, figuratively and literally, and take the AFC South. The question, who will be the second best team? That will be very interesting race for that.
Yeah, I will say that now. I will give the edge to Houston. Again, holla at me in week 6, and we can have this conversation again. But I will give that edge to them, and then it is going to be a fight for who's the second best. Like I said, this division is just very talented as a whole. It's a very young division as well. So you know, I'm kind of excited to see how things play out.
All right, and now we head to the final division in the AFC. It is the AFC West. Look, you already know it. Patrick Mahomes has dominated this doggone division for the mightiest of long time. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about the other teams that are in that division. John Harbaugh is now the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert. Greg Roman returns to be his OC. Jesse Minter is also the DC for the Los Angeles Chargers. The Raiders have promoted Antonio Pierce to be the head man in Las Vegas. And they had a quarterback competition that was won by, surprisingly, Gardner Minshew. And now the final team that we will also talk about. Wait a minute, I just had a blank. Who's in the AFC West? Oh, the Broncos. That's the one team I always forget.
No next.
I'm not
no next to them.
I'm not even trying to be funny. That's like always the one team that I grew a blank on every time I think about the AFC West. Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, year 2, rookie quarterback Bo Nix will become the starter. But there's a lot of questions about that team too. So I don't even really want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs because we know what they got. They got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Rasheed Rice ain't got pulled to court yet. I don't know why they ain't done that part yet, but we're just going to whisper on that. But when it comes to the AFC West, will there be anybody that can step up to the challenge and at least give them a fight?
No. Maybe
Not even.
during their games. Maybe during their actual games where they play, being that they're kind of, somewhat of a rivalry, they'll be close games. But I don't see anybody within 3 games of them in the division. I think Kansas City has the wherewithal to win 13, maybe not even 5 games within them the division. I think they have the wherewithal to win 12, 13, 14 ball games, and I don't see anybody else really approaching that 8-9 win mark. I'm sorry, exceeding that 8 or 9 win mark in that division. It's pretty much the KC Invitational, and everybody else is just there. I am kind of eager to see what the Chargers look like, because it looks like offensively they're starting almost from scratch. The last time we saw Greg Roman, he was directing a offense that looked kind of like closer to Nebraska than a pro style offense. Nebraska that we used to see back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Frazier's like led Nebraska. But eager to see what he does with those weapons, because Herbert, although he is he does have some mobility, he isn't one of those RPO or running type quarterbacks. They don't really have the great weapons outside. But I will say Josh Palmer, for all you folks who are looking for fantasy sleepers or guys on the waiver wire that you might want to pick up, Josh Palmer, I believe, is operating as the wide receiver 1 out there. Ladd McConkey is out there as well, and Quentin Johnson. But I don't know who they're going to throw to. I like what the what Antonio Pierce was able to do last year with Las Vegas. I think their roster is starting to gaining some traction, but I still see them as a 6 to 8 win team. And then Denver, they're basically building from the ground up. You got Bo Nix. They've gotten rid of a lot of guys over the last couple of years. You saw Judy, head out to Cleveland this year. So they're kind of building up from the ground up, and I don't think they're going to be a factor either. So, again, KC by a lot.
I agree. The only thing I'm excited to see over there is Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey. The only 2 bright stars that I want to see on that side of the team right now, just to see how they adjust to the NFL when it comes down to it. But other than that, I do agree. I don't see anybody coming close. If anything, if we're talking about second in the division or anything like that, I will give it probably between, depending on which Gardner Minshew we get, between the Raiders and possibly the Chargers. I just don't see it with the Broncos this year. Because I did see some preseason games with Bo Nix, and he did look decent. He looked decent. So, but again, that's preseason. So, but I will kind of see it like that. But yeah, that's Kansas City's. That's their division. That's going to be their division as long as Patrick Mahomes has Andy Reid, let alone he's Patrick Mahomes, and let alone he has the team that he has. That's just how it's going to be played out.
All right. Now we head to the NFC. We are starting off with the NFC East. New look NFC East, as Philadelphia has made all the rounds and acquiring way more talent, just like usual, under Howie Roseman with Saquon Barkley. Recently, a couple weeks ago, they traded for Jahan Dotson, added Devin White on defense, and added multitude of defensive backs to help shore up the defense that was one of the worst in passing and giving up big plays on this Philadelphia defense. So Philadelphia, obviously, everybody talks about it. Between the banter between Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. That's going to be something to keep an eye on for this season. The Dallas Cowboys say they're going all in, but they only bought 2 McDoubles, a small fry, and a small drink this offseason.
And that wasn't even 2 McDoubles. They bought the fish sandwich and would try to return it.
$5 meal. They got the $5 bill, the 4-piece, and a little McDouble.
Look, it's either that or they got the biggie bag, that $5 biggie bag.
Dallas Cowboys were playing with house money, but they did have some money to pay CeeDee Lamb, making one of the highest non-quarterbacks in the league. Micah Parsons is in a new defense with former head coach. What was the head coach? Thank God, I'm drawing blanks tonight. He was coach of the Vikings, but he's the defensive coordinator. Yeah, it's going to be a new look defense for Dallas. The New York Giants, we saw them on Hard Knocks, the off-season version, and
terrible.
Terrible.
No comment. But they got labor. They got neighbors, so that's cool. And
that's a bright spot. That's a bright spot.
But then the Washington Commanders, new regime finally makes a big move and getting Dan Quinn as the new head coach, and also drafted Jaden Daniels with the number 2 pick. New culture is in Washington, but the questions will always be, every year, the NFC East will always have a different winner in that division. Is it safe to say that it's going to be the same thing once again, as Philly looks like to be the team to beat?
So Philly was a wild card last year?
Philadelphia was in the wild card last year. They lost to Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. So yeah, I guess that's going to hold true then this year. I think they're going to win a division. I think they have the most talent on paper, but again, no, we don't know what's going on with the locker room. You alluded to the fractured relationship, if you will, with Jalen and the head coach there. We got to see kind of how that relationship is mended. But I'm gonna tell you, man, I like what you guys have done overall. I think you guys have definitely added to the talent base. JD5 looks like he's going to be a nice addition. We got to see more of him before we put the stamp on him. But I like what you guys have done. Dallas is kind of stand pat, as you say. Actually, they didn't even stand pat. They took a lot of losses. They took a lot of L's. They took some losses to the coaching staff. They took some losses personnel-wise, but they still feel that they can win a division. I think they're going to come up second in that division. I think Washington probably finishes third, and the Giants are probably going to bring up the rear. But again, though, some very exciting players, a lot of storylines in that division. So very eager to see how the NFC East works out.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna start with the Giants. I feel bad for Neighbors a little bit.
No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I'm just saying I feel bad for Neighbors because that's the only bright spot that they have over there. But I feel after this, they're gonna have to do some deep sea diving, and I'm not going to say that they got to go through a rebuild, but they got to go fix some spots. They got to go fix some spots over there to kind of make them more competent in the East, because it feels like to me that everybody in the East is kind of passing them, even including the Cowgirls. Now, speaking of them, I agree with DC. They were playing with they were playing with house money. They got some monopoly money, and they made a big signing in CD. But I don't know how that is going to feel for Parsons coming up. They're saying that Dak's deal is getting a little bit closer to being done. I don't know if Jerry is willing to pay that man $60 million a year without having something probably in the contract or having a conversation with him and saying that he has to do better with that, because again, there's a lot riding on it, because this is I literally just lost the head coach name. Literally drew a blank, but this is his last year.
We losing names tonight.
We losing names tonight.
Mike McCarthy?
Huh?
You talking about Cowboys, Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, I was finna say something else. I really was. But yes, Mike, this is his last year. He has to. Has not been any contract talks, no contract extensions, no nothing. This is it for him. New defense and all of that. So there's a lot riding on the Cowboys this year. A tremendous amount riding on the Cowboys this year. I agree with C. Henry. Commanders, they did what they needed to do. They rebuilt what they needed to be. Shout out to Dan Quinn. If he can have this second time coaching and make the right decisions, the Commanders are definitely going to be in the mix. If anything falls off with the Cowboys, they could be definitely fighting for that second place spot. really within the division, because they're really, in the sense, if you want to look at it, between them and the Cowboys, I don't see a major huge difference besides a couple of skill positions. But other than that, we have that, and then Philly's just all around. I am concerned with Philly's defense. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Philly's defense this year. Again, a lot of people were questioning a lot of Georgia players, and I'm just like, that's what y'all get. But I'm just at the end like, yeah, that's what y'all get. We try to tell y'all on some people, but neither here nor there. But I do question, especially.
I've never heard none of these things.
You haven't? Look, you haven't.
No, I'm talking about back then when you drafted them. All I heard was, what I'm saying, Georgia
Philly
North.
Dog.
That's all I
Philly
heard.
Dog.
Jacoby Dean and all these
Philly
guys
Dog.
like Georgia North, Bulldog North. Now they, Now they out there, they're being some pound puppies.
Look, I'll be honest with you. If people understand how Kirby's defense work at Georgia, they would have understood a little bit that y'all were drafting off the base of what y'all saw, not what their actual position really was. But that's just me. But yeah, I'm just concerned with that secondary with Philly, and kind of see if Jalen Hurts actually can pick up this offense. That's going to be my main things with Philly. I can't see Philly running away with the division this year, but again, it's going to be a tough fight between second, and I'm giving that to the Commanders, in between the Commanders and the Cowboys.
You made a key point, and I think that a lot of people don't talk about it enough. Kellen Moore becoming the OC over in Philadelphia and working with Jalen. When he went and worked with Dak, it did wonders for his game. Well, it wasn't that Dak couldn't play beforehand, but he just really, really connected with Dak, put a system in place where Dak could really, really thrive. And I see a lot of similarities between Dak and Jalen. And I'm just wondering if he can if he can have the same effect on Jalen throwing the football. This could be something really, really positive for Hurts, especially with those weapons. Woo.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a little AJ Brown, little Devontae on my 8 squad. So yeah. Hit them boys up.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Philadelphia Eagles to take the crown back from the Dallas Cowboys this year. But now we head to the NFC North with the Detroit Lions. Yes, C. Henry's Detroit Lions dominated the NFC North and were in the NFC Championship game before they lost to the 49ers. Also, the same 49ers team that beat the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round, and they paid their new quarterback, Jordan Love, some money, have some young weapons on the side. Also hired Jeff Hafley, the former Ohio State / Boston College head coach, to be the DC for the Green Bay Packers. Minnesota Vikings, they lose Kirk Cousins. They paid Justin Jefferson, but they drafted J.J. McCarthy, who's going to be out for the year, but we technically a red shirt, as Sam Darnold looks to be the main guy for 2024. But also, the other rookie that's in the division is the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, in the Chicago Bears. And even though he is a rookie, a lot of pressure on that young man, and especially Matt Eberflus, all the time they have around him to make some noise. So this will be a 2 question, because we're going to talk about who's going to win the division and the Chicago Bears, because all eyes are on them. 1, who do you think will be the favorite in that division once again between the Packers and the Lions? And with the Bears, is this a make or break season for Caleb Williams, even in his rookie season?
Tackle that first, E.
I'm still gonna give it to the Detroit Lions. I'm still gonna edge them out of Green Bay. Again, I love Jordan Love. I love him. I love what he did last season, because he came along as the season progressed. So I am excited to see what he's going to be able to do this season. I just feel just a little bit that Detroit is a little bit stronger, especially at the wide receiver when it comes down to playmakers. I love their defense. I love how they have their defense structured. They may have a little question marks, but I do feel that they're just an all-around team. As long as their coach don't decide to kick any more field goals, I can see them going.
Don't kick field goals.
He's not going to let that go, yo.
So I'm just saying.
To the choir, E. To the choir over here. For real.
Look, I'm just saying, but no, I will give that out. I'm not gonna say it's a make or break season for Caleb. He has the playmakers, he has the defense, he has the offensive line, everything that we've been saying that the Chicago did not give to Justin when he was there. So I'm not gonna say it's a make or break, but I do expect him not to have a CJ Stroud like season, but I expect his season to be very, very close. Very close. And it's just, the Chicago Bears schedule a little bit. It's going to give him a little tough little shake for his rookie year. But I don't see it as a make or break season. More so, we're going to talk about make or break. I would say that's a make or break for the front office. Like, how well did you guys, draft the pieces that you needed around him to succeed? How well did you spend the money in the offseason to get what you needed to help him succeed? So I feel like that's a make or break for them. I don't feel like the pressure is really on CJ Stroud, but yeah, it's going to be between Detroit and Green Bay, but I am going to edge Detroit out as that conference champion.
All right, we can still be friends. You know what? I think that definitely we're the favorite. We had a good off season. Got some remade our secondary, if you will, which was definitely the weakest part of our roster. Brought back a lot of good talent. Actually, brought in DJ Reader, who's going to be help us on that run defense. Green Bay though, I can't sleep on Green Bay and what some of the additions that they made. Bringing in Josh Jacobs, bringing in Xavier McKinney, impact players for them. Don't sleep on Rashawn Gary. And then in Chicago, bringing in Keenan Allen. I can't even think of the tight end from the Chargers who they brought in to complement Cole Kmet. Then bring in, I'm sorry, one more time.
Gerald Everett.
Yep, Gerald Everett. And also bringing in DeAndre Swift. So they've given Caleb Williams a lot of weapons. I don't think by any stretch of imagination it's any make or break year for him. I only think it's a make or break year for the front office, because when you look at Ryan Poles, he was not. I don't think he hired Eberflus. That wasn't one of his hires. Justin clearly wasn't his quarterback. So I think since he's come on, he's kind of got the momentum going forward. I do think Eberflus is on the hot seat a little bit. He's been given a quarterback. He's been given a functional offense with pieces on the outside and now pieces from that offensive line. He's also been given some defensive playmakers. So for me, if he doesn't have a success this year, 8, 9, 10 wins, then he could possibly be out, and they could possibly already have their coach in the building with Shane Waldron as their OC. He comes from the coaching tree, if you will, so they can already kind of have him in place if they were to falter.
Yeah, I agree. The NFC North is going to be very interesting, especially with the addition of Caleb Williams. Is definitely going to be interesting. I know we didn't mention the Vikings. I really don't I'm sad that JJ is not playing because of injury, but I just don't expect too much coming out of the Vikings. But I feel like the North is going to be a very interesting, especially when it comes down to the top two, which is going to be between Green Bay and Detroit. But I'm excited to see what Caleb can bring. If he can bring Chicago back, then I feel like the rivalries are going to start being revived again. And I think we can start adding that. And once JJ comes back, the North might be that competitive North that we've known it to be for years. So let's.
I will say this though, I'm not going to totally sleep on Minnesota, because they had a pretty decent.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, me.
And Sam Darnold, people don't really give him a lot of respect, and I'm one of those, and I'm people. But with that being said, he is a veteran at this point. Maybe he's matured, maybe he sees the game a little bit differently, maybe it's slowed down a little bit. And in this offense with all these great playmakers around him, maybe he can have some. And they do have a solid defense headed up by Brian Flores over there. So don't sleep on him. There's a lot of good football going to be in the NFC North. Played in the NFC North, I should say.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, I still like the Lions in the division, but I'm not going to sleep on what Green Bay has done and what they can develop around the talent of Jordan Love. Also think that even though there are some questions with the Vikings, even last year they played without Kirk Cousins. They were still competitive. They were still fighting in December and almost late January. But I'm still going to have them somewhere in that 6 to 7 win mark. A very competitive season. They still have Brian Flores as their defensive coordinator. And with the Bears are obviously they're going to be highlight with Caleb Williams and some of the stuff he does in college. See, can that translate in the actual NFL game? But I'm still going with the Detroit Lions to take the heat of the North this 2024 season.
Yeah. That's going to be, like I said, it's going to be
Go Lions.
All right, now we head down to the South. We get ready to see Atlanta Falcons with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. also in the same backfield. But a lot of talent on that offense for the Atlanta Falcons, and also a lot of talent on that defense for the Atlanta Falcons. Going all in with Raheem Morris as the new head coach. Also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who won the division last year, but by 9 games by the hair of their chinny chin chins. And of course, you had Carolina Panthers with Bryce Young, new head coach Dave Kavanaugh coming over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you still have New Orleans Saints with Derek Carr in year 2 in New Orleans, but they have Spencer Rattler in the back. A lot of people have been talking about him being very impressive this training camp heading into preseason, but a lot of teams are not very high on the last 2 teams I named. But this is looking like a 2-man race, right? The Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons.
So it's a one-man's race. I'm biased.
One man. So y'all gonna win it. Y'all gonna win it going away.
Look. I have faith in everything. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Raheem came in. We as Falcon fans have experienced Raheem and kind of wanted him to have the job before the job was given to Arthur Smith. I feel like Raheem has learned how to be a very good coach. He has set this team up for what it needs to be. It's to the point to where the fans are really, really, really buying in. Parking is sold out. They're advising people to take the MARTA, get in the train for this first game against the Steelers. We might have some Steeler fans in there, but I believe there's going to be a lot of Falcon fans in there this Sunday. So again, the additions that we made on the defense, when we kind of missed out on some in the off season and then didn't draft like a lot of people thought we were going to draft. Those additions coming in really helped. We paid AJ. So we got AJ paid this off season doing that. And, next year is going to be Kyle. Kyle got to get his money too. I'm excited to see Kyle Pitts actually back with a good quarterback that loves wide receivers. I mean, not wide, well, that's what he is playing, to be honest with you, but that loves tight ends. Drake finally gets to show what he's made up as well. We got Mooney over there. We got Ray. We got Bijan. We got Tyler. So offense is just loaded right now. Defense, Grady's coming back. I don't know if they're going to probably put him on a little bit of a snap count. I don't expect that. I think it's 100% go. We got Judon. We got Simmons. We got Jesse Bates back there. Like, it's all excitement right now. So, yeah. I mean, Tampa Bay got a good team on paper. They really do. But I want to know what Baker Mayfield we're going to get. He doesn't have his offensive coordinator that he had last year. He's now with the Panthers. So I just want to see what Baker Mayfield that we are going to get when it comes down over there to Tampa. I don't really want to speak on the Saints because right now Saints fans are saying get rid of Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. And if Derek Carr starts sucking, they're going to be calling for Spencer Rattler. So again, I do agree it probably is down to the Falcons and the Bucks, but I'm just going to be biased. I'm going to say the Falcons all the way, baby.
Boy. Look.
I agree with you guys. I mean, I like what, I'm saying. I like what Atlanta's doing. I had Tampa Bay probably the favorite, probably up until a couple weeks ago. But then you bring in Judon, you bring in Simmons, and again, I mean, those are the moves we expected to see. Those are prime free agency moves. You know what I'm saying? We expected to see those in like March. You know what I'm saying? So to do those in July or I'm sorry, late August, were great finds late in the summer, man. So I think those kind of put you over the top. I still would say though, you got to watch Tampa Bay. They got a great coach, Super Bowl winning coach. They still have a veteran team, playoff team. So you still have to watch them a little bit. As far as the other two teams, I think they still have a lot of work that they need to kind of shore up on. New Orleans and Carolina, they still got a little work to do, but interesting to see the type of impact that Canales has on that Carolina team, because he is someone who has been within the division there for years. So he knows the division well. He may have some trade secrets he can share with Carolina over there. So let's see how they.
Yeah. So last year, I know this is nasty word, but I just was fonded by the talent around Desmond Ritter. I just felt like he had to be a manager, but that didn't work. So just looking at this Atlanta team, like I can't go wrong a second time. I'm going with Atlanta Falcons to take the NFC South. I just like them, but Tampa Bay, they're still there, but I just feel like with Kirk Cousins, he's going to give those players, he's going to maximize the players around him, including a B. John Robinson, including a Kyle Pitts, a Drake London, and other receivers. That's also to help that offense, but also the defense that was sneakily good last year, despite a couple of games where like they didn't play up to the standard. You added Matthew Judon, you add Justin Simmons to go with Jesse Bates. Now you have a top tier safety tandem to go with the secondary and the edge rushers. So I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons to win the NFC South.
Okay, look at the A, baby. Look at the A.
Look at the A, baby.
Okay, look at y'all.
Oh, really quick before we go to the other one, speaking of Atlanta, Atlanta did lose one of its greats today, so I just want to make it public. RIP to Rich Homie Quan. If you grew up on Rich Homie Quan, you knew that Rich Homie Quan had the college days on lock. So that was kind of devastating news today to hear that. So just want to send that shout out to Rich Homie Quan. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. All right. Now let's get to the last division so we can get to our Super Bowl predictions and our picks, because the game has now just been pushed. We definitely got some time to finish the show out. All right. The NFC West, the Wild Wild West. San Francisco 49ers were just in the Super Bowl. They just paid Brandon Ayuk after his saga of beta teams not want to go to the New England Patriots because they were going to pay him bread, but he didn't like the roster. Baiting the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington Commanders. He got his money, and it's looking like Trent Williams about to get his bread soon. So obviously we know what they have with the San Francisco 49ers. The defense, running game, Christian McCaffrey, the wide receivers, Brock Purdy, and another year into the system. But you got teams like the Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford coming back, brand new. Definitely going to be a new play caller on that side. But just looking at the amount of talent they added on that defense, young and old, I'm very impressed with what the Rams done. You get Puka Nacua back, you get Cooper Kupp healthy again, Kyron Williams at running back, Blake Corum running back, looking to run the football with efficiency, with play action. You also have Seattle. They have Mike Macdonald now as the head coach of that new program. You have a lot of defensive guys like Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Wooleck on the secondary. You have some wide receivers. And then the final team in that division, you have the Arizona Cardinals, who we all thought was probably going to be a top 3 pick again, but they were just one off. They were the 4th pick, but they were a scrappy bunch, and they got Marvin Harrison Jr. to go with Kyler Murray. And this team is very scrappy, and I mean, they play for their head coach, and they look to improve upon the season they had from last year. So a lot of people will probably say the 49ers. I'm probably going to be different. If I had to choose a team that will seriously supplant them, I would have to look at the team that won the Super Bowl in that division a couple of years ago, and that's the Rams. We all thought a couple of years ago, all the talent they lost. We know they lost Aaron Donald. That's clear as day. They lost Aaron Donald, and they lost Raheem Morris. But the way they play with Matthew Stafford when he's healthy, when Matthew Stafford is healthy, one of the most talented passers in the NFL. Kyren Williams was surprised last year, also won a couple fantasy leagues with his running style. Puka Nacua comes out of nowhere and highly produced, and it's probably because of the Matthew Stafford effect. You have Cooper Kupp coming back, a young nucleus wide receiver, a young defense as well. I just like what the Rams have done. I think they can be a serious contender in competition to what the 49ers have already established. What do y'all think? Or y'all have different contenders as well?
I can definitely see it. I mean, when they made this particular draft pick, I mean, I know a lot of people on my team wanted him because of what we wanted, but when they picked up Jared Verse from Florida State and added them to that defense, I was like, well, there goes their replacement for. And I mean, he's not Aaron Donald, but there goes their replacement right there. So
Brandon Fish too from Florida State.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I can see it. I really do. Like I said, if we have a healthy Matthew Stafford with all the weapons over there and different things, I mean, that's going to be San Francisco's biggest competition. I mean, to be honest with you, San Francisco needs to win the division, but the problem is winning the division should not be their only thing. If they even make it far, they have a lot of other stuff that they got to get figured out when it comes down to even doing that. So unless they're trying to look into the future, the 49ers do need to watch out for the Rams. I think even last season we were saying the big sleeper over there in the West and could be in the NFC playoff picture was the Rams. So I'm not going to sit over here and say that you're wrong for probably picking them. They still, again, Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy, but can we continue to have Brock Purdy build? Can we get the same Brock Purdy that we have seen before? Debo, we're looking at Debo. They got Brandon Ayuk still. They got CMC. They still got a talented defense. But the thing about it is I'll be honest with you. We said make or break for Caleb Williams. I think this is going to be the make or break for Kyle Shanahan. I mean, you got to do something this year. You got to do something, and if the outcome for them is to get back over there to the Super Bowl, baby, you're gonna have to sit over here and do something. But I think the Rams are definitely going to challenge them.
I think the Rams can definitely challenge them. I think I'm with you, DT. I think that offensively, the Rams will probably match up with anybody in the league. The only issue I have with the Rams is defensively. I know they have a couple of young guys, young bulls. On that defensive line. But after that, they just traded away Ernie Jones. Again, Darius Williams, their top cornerback, was put on IR, so he's going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. I just don't know if they have enough offensively. Now, when you talk about the 49ers, I do think that they are, on paper, the best team in that division by far, one of the best teams in the NFC. But I think that this offseason has been a little bit tumultuous. You know what I mean? You had Ayuk doing his antics, whatever he was trying to do, get his money, get out of town or whatever, ultimately get his money as he stayed in town. You have Trent, who, wants his money. He's been sitting out of practice as well. And you also have CMC, who's been nursing an injury. He came back to practice this week, but it's come out that he is still on the injury report. So I just think that their continuity has been kind of thrown off a little bit. Again, that's something that probably, 3 or 4 games, into the season, they can probably get that, that chemistry, build that back up, and by the end of the season be rolling. But if one of these other teams, Seattle or LA, gets off to a hot start, they may be able to win enough games to possibly win a division. I'm still going to go with San Francisco right now. I think they're the best team on paper, but I do expect the first 3 or 4 games, the first month of the season, to be a little bit rougher for San Francisco than we've seen them in the past.
Yeah, I agree.
And with Seattle, the one problem I have with Seattle past 2 years has been health, and then the defense not fully coming together. Will they come up together under Mike Macdonald? Probably more than likely, but it remains to be seen because we haven't truly seen them all together yet. Then when we see them play up to competition within their division, especially against the 49ers, they're outmatched and being can beat at the line of scrimmage when it comes to playing against the 49ers. So that's definitely something I need to see with Seattle. And with the Cardinals, that team last year, a lot of people said they were going to be one of the worst teams. They were not really one of the worst teams. They had a bad record, I would say. But they were competitive. They won some games that nobody thought they were going to win. They beat Dallas and they beat Philadelphia, both teams that were in the playoffs. You have Marvin Harrison Jr. They got some young guys in the wide receiver room as well. You get James Conner back. You get Kyler Murray back. And this defense is in year 2. Expecting some aggressive play from this defense. So they're going to be a team that's going to be you're going to have to buckle up and put your chin strap on for. But
I
when I'm talking about the Rams, I just like what they see. I do agree with your sentiment about some of the guys on the back end of that Rams defense. But I think they can somehow overcome it. And I still have the Rams sneaking out and find a way to win this division.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I could see it. And speaking of the Arizona Cardinals, they're like that little Yorkie that likes to try to bite on you every time. That's them. That is one of the put on there. That's how they be fighting. But more of the time, they'll get you once, but then they'll just try to bite you again later. But yeah, they're a little sneaky little Yorkie. I'm just saying.
That's a hell of an analogy.
No, because I had an experience with my cousin's Yorkie, and I'm like, the little dog come back over here and try to nibble on me one more time. She gonna be out the window.
All right, so we done all the divisions. Now, I think it's time, before we get to our picks for week 1, I think we need to put in our Super Bowl prediction, who we think is going to come out each respective conferences. And I'm going to go first. I'm going to say we are going to see a rematch of Kansas City versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
You say Detroit? What you say?
Look, go clean your ears out. Go clean your ears out.
You ain't say Detroit?
Go clean your ears.
Did you mean to say Detroit?
I just feel the pressure is really on Philadelphia.
Okay.
They have the offensive talent. I do feel like they definitely address mightily with the secondary. They have almost like 7 guys that could probably contribute on teams or start on teams. You get Vic Fangio to be the defensive coordinator. We'll see how he can get the talent out of some of the guys. Their defensive line is good. Linebackers, definitely a question as well. With Devin White also just being reported not going to be playing and going to be seeing how they play tomorrow night. But I have Philadelphia back in the Super Bowl, but that doesn't mean they're going to win it. I just want to see the Eagles fans cry once again because Kansas City going to go for that 3-peat.
Damn, 3-peat, huh? Ooh. Woo.
Yeah, I can see Kansas City. I can see Kansas City coming out. I can see another. What I can see as far as a rematch, if we're going to talk about rematch, I can see another rematch between KC and the Ravens again. I can see that. I cannot, especially for that AFC title game. I can see that. NFC, I'm not gonna lie, NFC can be a little bit of a toss up because you can have that conversation. It can be between Detroit, definitely can be between Philly, and if the Rams can do it, you can throw them in the mix too. Besides the 49ers. So I feel like the NFC is a little bit more of a toss-up. I don't gamble. I tried to gamble in Vegas and I played $1 and I lost 80 cents and only won 20. So I'm not going to try to make this and gamble this. But I will say if Detroit can stop kicking them field goals and actually go for it.
What you mean? We need to kick them or we don't need to kick them? What we need to do with them?
Y'all need to go for it. That's what y'all need to do. But no. If Detroit, if Campbell can can quit trying to be cute and different things like that and just be a coach and coach the team, Detroit can definitely go a long way, and we could see Detroit in a Super Bowl. I ain't putting my team in there. I just want to make the playoffs. I ain't even do all of that. I just want to make the playoffs.
I like that. I like the way you put that. For me, man, you know what? I just think that it's going to be an exciting year of football. I'm hoping that my Lions, pull it off. I know it's going to be hard for us to get back to where we were and to exceed that point. But I like the makeup of our team. I think Philly is good. I think San Francisco is good. I also do like the Rams as well. But I think that, if everything comes together and we get the emergence of J-Mo, we should have enough, to get to that Super Bowl. As far as the AFC, man, again, I think that Mahomes is primed for MVP year. You give him weapons like Xavier Worthy. You give him a guy like Hollywood Brown to go with Kelsey and Pacheco. This guy may throw for 5,000 yards and have 40-plus touchdowns through the air. So that wouldn't surprise me. So with that, I think Houston definitely gets at least back to the not Houston. Kansas City gets back at least to the AFC Championship game, but I have them meeting Houston. And if you ask me if Kansas City going to three-peat this year, I don't want to hate on them, but I'm going to take the field because it's never been done before. And with that being said, I'm a history guy. I'm going to go with Houston coming out of the AFC, and we're going to have a Detroit-Houston Super Bowl. It's going to be super lit, two of the best cities to do it. And you know who I'm picking. So, that's just where I'm at. We can dream.
Okay.
Battle of the Young Guns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Hey.
Southern players and northern players.
Henry been in Houston too long.
All right. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. We're going to go ahead and do our first pick'em. And I'm letting y'all two know. I'm letting y'all two know right now. I am going to do a markup. Huh?
You keeping track?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to keep track.
All right.
I'm going to keep track. I'm going to keep track of all our picks this week, every week. I'm telling you right now.
We like a little friendly competition.
I love friendly competition. It makes the show fun.
It does. It does.
All right, let's go ahead and go with tonight's game. Ravens versus the Chiefs. What we going with?
Chiefs are missing Hollywood Brown tonight, but I don't feel like that's going to stop them. With that, I do feel like they're up for a task with this Ravens defense on there with there, but I'm just gonna say one person, Chris Jones. That's it. So I'm going with Kansas City.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. I'm gonna go Kansas City as well. I think they I don't want to say they own Baltimore, but they have their number in the big games. And I like Spags' defensive game plan against Baltimore. I don't know if they're gonna run the ball more. Well, they should. They have Derrick Henry. They should run the ball more tonight. I'm gonna go with Kansas City.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's definitely gonna be a sweep for this game, but it is my brother's birthday, and he is a Baltimore Ravens fan. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Damn your brother, huh? Damn your brother. You are not your brother's keeper.
I'm rooting for them to win. I'm rooting for them to win for my brother. All right, let's go to the Friday game. Green Bay Packers versus Philadelphia Eagles.
Give me them Eagles. I think first game jitters is going to get to Jordan Love, especially first game jitters in a whole nother country. Let alone they if you know about Brazil, you know about Brazil, kind of like some of the things that are going on out there as far as that with safety. So that can kind of throw off some routines that some of the players want to do. I'm not saying that can cause it because it's happening for both sides, but first game jitters for Jordan Love, I feel in a whole nother country, spotlights on you. Big game to start off the season. I feel like Jalen Hurts can show up when the lights are on. So even though he didn't show up in the Super Bowl, but regular season is different. So I'm going with the Eagles.
I am gonna go opposite of you for pretty much the same reasons. I keep hearing about all the things that are going on and all the inconveniences that the players are going to have to go through. But I only keep hearing it from Philadelphia Eagle players. I haven't heard one Green Bay player talk about any of the, not being any of the safety issues, them not having their family there or not. So to me, that kind of shows me that Green Bay may be a little bit more focused on the task at hand, which is the game. And I'm going to give it to Green Bay. I think they make a statement early, give us something to talk about come this weekend. Is Green Bay for real? And has Philadelphia figured out their issues that led them to a slide last year? So Green Bay for me.
All right. Yeah, I'm going with Green Bay too. I think it's gonna take just a tad bit while to get the cohesion of that secondary for Philadelphia together. I just like the weapons that Jordan Love has at his disposal. Joshua Jacobs, he's look like he's gonna have a big role not only in the running game but in the passing game as well. But I think this is going to be a nail biter. We're going to be in the treat for Friday night, but I am going to take the Green Bay Packers over the Philadelphia Eagles in week 1.
Okay. All right, DT. Great minds think alike.
Lord Jesus.
The next game we're going to go to will be the Cardinals versus the Bills.
I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills in this one. If this game was either later in the afternoon or in Arizona, because I believe this game is in Buffalo, I may take the Cardinals in the upset. I like picking upsets, so I'd probably take the points on this one. Let me see what the points are here. 6.5. Yeah, give me Buffalo for the win, but I might look at those points. Only issue is it's a 1:00 start time. Arizona's coming across the country.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that, even though I don't want to, but give me them guys in New York.
there's nothing wrong with some Buffalo wings.
I mean, I do love me some buffalo wings now. Don't play with me on that one.
All right, I'm going with Buffalo as well. So that's an interesting point. It is a 1:00 game. It's in New York. They're coming all the way from Arizona. I think it's going to be a scrappy game, but I think Josh Allen's going to do what he always do to pull away for the victory. Next game we're going to have is the Atlanta Falcons hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are y'all going to play future when Russell Wilson get on the field?
That's the plan.
Nasty.
That's the plan.
Nasty word.
That is the plan. He on there on the field.
What if little future come with Russ to come see his or future senior?
Well, we already know Sierra's off a tour. So I feel like the whole family is going to. They're more than likely already here. With the hand, at the time, because this is Sierra's hometown. So yeah, she's gonna be here. I don't think.
Shout out to the co-parents, the stepdaddy and the real daddy, co-parents.
Hey, first of all, hey, look, I'm gonna say it like this: the real daddy ain't seen the son in a long time, so we ain't gonna talk about that. But
don't do it like that. Don't give them peek behind the curtains and our family trauma. This is the family. Don't let everybody see what's going on in the family. We can't be feuding.
But y'all should already know who I'm going for. So that's that.
I'm you know what? If my man Kirk the Jerk is healthy, man, Atlanta gonna get their season started right with a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I got Atlanta too. So it's gonna be 3-0 Atlanta. Next game. Let's go with New England versus the Bengals.
Bengals. By a lot.
By a lot. You don't trust the Patriots?
You don't think the defense can hold them off a little bit?
What defense? The defense just got traded to Atlanta. What who will on that defense?
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Name somebody. 3, 2, 1. Name some.
And for real, that is Josh Uche. What Uche over there, man? Your boy.
He played. Do he play?
Yeah, he played.
Man,
Yeah,
maybe
but I am gonna agree with
For
Henry.
real. Like 1 year, he had like 7 sacks.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. You know what I'm saying? That's
I'm
wonderful.
going with
Josh
Bengals.
Uche.
I got the Bengals.
Let me see.
I got the bingo. You know, well, you know,
I actually wanted him in free agency at one point, but I think he signed back for like a 1 or 2 year deal or something like that.
Oh, I'm gonna have to stand. I'm gonna have to stand corrected. My boy had 11.5 sacks in 22. I'm
Uche?
sorry, Uche. Yeah, but you know he had 1 in 20, 3 in 21, and 3 in 23. I'm sorry, I got that 22 was an outlier. Shout out to Josh Uche. Go Blue.
yeah. Go Blue. Okay, but
Go
yeah,
Blue.
give me the Bengals. Give me the
3 good
Bengals.
Bengals. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
Bengals.
Next game: Titans versus Bears.
The up and comer bowl.
I feel like that's gonna be a close game that people realize.
I think it's going to be a close game too, and I'm going to go with the NFC North again. I may be biased here, maybe trying to set up for the North to make a couple of statements week 1, but I'm gonna give it to Chicago. They're at home. I think they have a little bit too much offensively. I think Caleb outduels Will Levis.
I'm with you, Hen, because that's what I was gonna go for with the Bears. The defense, is a good defense for Tennessee, but I do agree about the outduel. I'm still, things still, Levis is getting used to a new offensive coordinator, a new coach. He doesn't have that, so I do feel like it's a little bit more of going to be a struggle for him this season. But yeah, give me the Bears.
Yeah, 3-zip Bears. All right, the next game, let's go with the Texans at the Colts. Been a lot of trash talking between these two teams this offseason.
Yeah.
Give me H-Town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me H-Town too.
Oh, okay.
Give me H-Town over Naptown.
3-zip.
And the only reason I'm saying H-Town is Anthony Richardson is just coming back off an injury. I feel like he still got to kind of shake that rust off a little bit because only playing in 4 games, then, catching a devastating injury to kind of end his season. And then, I'm still mad at him about them non-wet shoulders he got. But shout out to my Indy, though, representing that Kappa Alpha side. But them shoulders was not wet, honey. They was not wet.
Good.
We don't like when stuff is not wet. That's
And
all I'm going to say.
You know what?
We're going to leave that right there and let the imagination run away. You know what I'm saying? Moist. Moist.
You know
I like
what?
my team moist. That's all I'm going to say.
I can't even go to the Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins, bro. Let's go to the doggone Panthers.
Why you can't? It's hurricane season down there. It might be wet down there. Hurricane
Oh
season.
my God, no.
It might be a little
Saints versus Panthers.
Nobody bowl. Canales, get you a win your first game out. Canales.
Yeah. You're on mute. You pull a C, Henry.
I'm like, dang, I didn't even know I mute myself. But no, you know them tickets are going for like $2 for that game.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So I'll say a tie. I'll say a tie.
A tie? Okay.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just playing.
I was about to legit put that down.
No, don't put that down. No, don't put that down. So no, but for real, Panthers do still have some questions at defense. With that, they do got a good defensive unit. Offense, Mighty Mouse. I just need to see if he can actually do a quarterback sneak. That's going to be my concern. But I will say, give me the Saints. They do have a veteran defense. They do have some great talent at wide receiver. As long as Derek Carr can get them the ball, and can do it, it's not going to be a pretty win, but I'm gonna give it to the Saints. Hopefully they can keep their winning streak alive on game one. So
Okay. I'm going with the Saints too. All right. I guess we calm down with the rated R session we just had up here. But, Jaguars and the Dolphins.
this is gonna be one of those games. I feel.
You know, I gotta pick.
Whoever's the last
I just
team
can't
with the
keep
ball.
going with the favorites. I can't keep going with the favorites. It's gonna be some upsets, and this may be one. I don't have no analysis here. This is just an upset that I see, so I'm going Jacksonville.
When I did this with my students, I was called a casual. But you know what? I went with Jacksonville too. I can see it.
You riding with Jacksonville? You think Trevor Lawrence is gonna have that game?
He ain't got no choice to have that game.
Yeah. Okay.
See, now you can put a whole different spin on it. Now I'm like, you know.
No, don't let us sway your position.
They may have to score 40. Can they score 35, 40? Because their defense is kind of trash. If Trayvon, whatever his name is, and Josh don't get the sack, it's pretty much, you know.
Well, I take that as an insult and some shade, but
I'm stick with Jacksonville.
I'm staying with Jacksonville too. I'm taking the Jaguars this week in the upset.
Look, you know, when we all three pick the same one, it's always going to be something of the opposite. So I'm just saying.
That's okay. You taking Miami?
Nope, I'm taking Jacksonville.
Okay.
Damn. Okay, well, let me deviate now.
Come on, boy, hurry up! The game about to start.
Okay. Great minds think alike. We with it. Great minds think alike. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Jags 3-0. All right, might have to speed up a little bit. Vikings and Giants.
Vikings.
Michael hesitated.
I don't even know why he hesitating. Vikings.
Because you know what, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've been dogging the Giants all year, all off season. I've not been impressed with that, with their decisions on their free agency and the GM. But I done picked up Malik Neighbors in these 3 of my leagues, man. I'm a Malik Neighbors fan, and you know, Minnesota got a bad secondary, so I'm Daniel Jones earns his money. You know, he got one game where he usually, you know, looks apart.
Okay, hang on though. That counterpoint is like, to be honest with you, the Giants got a bad secondary too.
Yeah,
and you got Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I know. I already had Green Bay winning. I'm gonna pick us. I already had Chicago winning. Yeah, man, the Giants, man. The Giants, man.
Okay,
they gotta win something.
Okay. Now, if you had started off with that first, I would have definitely understood. Okay, so
listen. There is no hashtag analysis for this pick. It's just going with your heart. You see, I'm talking about my fantasy team. Like, dang.
All right.
I'm trying to speak it into existence, man. But I think the Giants beat them in that first game.
All right, Raiders and Chargers.
Raiders.
Why are you gonna steal my team? I'm going with the Raiders too.
You know what I'm saying? Give me Zamir White and Devontae out. I have Devontae on like 5 of my team.
Oh, you learned about Zamir White after last season, huh?
I learned a little bit about him. I mean, compared to Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, give me the young functional legs.
Upset. Give me Chargers.
Okay. All right.
Next game, Broncos Seahawks.
Mike McDonald, welcome to the NFL. Get you a win.
Yep, Seahawks.
Seahawks 3-0. Cowboys and the Browns.
This one's gonna be a good game.
It is a good game.
This is definitely gonna be a good game.
Watson in his oily hands, or do you trust Mike McCarthy and his play call?
No.
He may call a, you know what I'm saying, the swinging gate
Oh, bro.
at any point in time. He got
PT.
Zeke back over there. He may have a flashback to that
This
playoff
is
game.
nasty.
Zeke, you ain't run the play right. When I had you at center, we're gonna do it right this time. Dak,
man.
run the play right. I
Hey,
don't know, man. I'm gonna go Dallas, man, because I think, man, even man, Deshaun ain't right. Deshaun needs Jesus. He ain't right. He ain't right. He ain't been right in a minute.
Oh,
We are definitely in
We are back.
mid-season form.
we're back. I'm doing this because I don't like the Cowboys. You know who I stand with. Going Cleveland.
Okay.
I actually was gonna go Cleveland just because I feel like that this might be the only game that Deshaun might actually show up.
They must gonna hit him with
Sean,
the
get my
anointed
game.
oil, not the baby oil this time. You gotta get the anointed oils.
All right. Commanders and Bucks. I got the Bucks winning.
What? You do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I ain't gonna feel so bad then because you were watching film. I got the Bucks winning too.
I'm going Commanders.
Okay. Stand up. Do
Hang
what
on,
you
calm down. Hold
Put
up.
your left pinky up. You ain't got to put your whole fist up. Put your
Oh wait,
left
hold on, I
pinky up.
can't do that.
Or you can't do the pinky. Okay.
I can't do the pinky. Oh, girl, like,
I
whoa, wait a
think
minute.
I seen the middle finger in that one though. I think I seen the middle finger in that one.
No, we gonna stick right here. We can't put the pinky up. I can't. I'm like, look now, if I'm sipping on a cup of tea or something, yes. I can't just put that up by itself. No.
See, Henry, calm down. You know she's using logic. It's the NFC South.
Okay.
All right. Final two. The Rams versus the Lions.
Lions going away.
This is going to be another instant classic, but I'm going to take the Lions once again.
The only reason I say going away is because they got a couple guys hurt. Like I told you, Darius Williams is on IR. He's a top corner. Alaric Jackson, who I believe is one of their offensive tackles, actually from Detroit, he's not going to be playing. And I believe Jonah Jackson, former offensive guard here, their current guard, I believe he had missed some time earlier. I don't know if he's going to play. I think he had a limited practice this week. So they're down a couple players, but I expect a wonderful environment and a wonderful game.
Yeah, it's Lions at home game, sold out season. Give me the Lions.
All right, 3-0 Lions. Final game, Jets versus the 49ers on Monday Night Football.
Yo, division champion Jets. You got to put some respect on their name. Earl.
Division champion Jets.
Oh, Lord. Give me the Jets.
Wait a minute. Y'all both went to Jets?
Well, you didn't even let me listen to my pick.
Oh, I thought you said give me the Jets. I'm sorry.
You said division winner Jets. I was like, okay, I had to put it. I said they were going to win the division.
Okay.
Now I'll tell you my pick. I got the Jets.
So yeah, I'm taken aback because the same reason I thought that San Francisco would get off to a rough start is why I was taking the Jets. Now we got the whole the three-person agreement again. But I'm gonna stick with it. I think the Jets again take this game. Aaron Rodgers is going home. The lights are going to be on Monday Night Football. He hasn't played in a year. I'm sure he wants to make an impression. Garrett Wilson wants to make an impression. Breece Hall wants to make an impression. And again, we don't know how much CMC is going to play. Is Trent going to play? And how much is Ayuk going to play? So they still got some of their main horses possibly on.
Hey man, and Ricky's out too with his
Ricky.
Oh, I should have never said it.
You got a zigzag. You got a zigzag, drop, roll, hit the fence, and be out. That's right. And that's for all y'all kids out there. I don't care what you run in the 40. You ain't faster than no bullet.
For real.
You give it up. Whatever they got the drop on you, give it up and live. See another day. God bless Ricky. He made it.
He made it, especially being shot in the chest. He made
Pearsall did. Boys in the hood, Ricky, he ain't make it.
And on that note, it is 8:40. The game is about to kick off. We've been waiting all year for this.
All year.
The season opener is NFL opening night, and we're going to watch this football game. And we hope you enjoy. If you're staying, let's give it your time. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, DT. I had to interrupt real quick because I know we said we weren't going to talk about it, and we ain't even going to ask for no analysis. But I got to get y'all picks because y'all are super college football savants. So I got to get y'all pick for that Michigan Texas matchup at 12 o'clock in the Big House. Who winning? Who y'all got winning?
Texas.
Okay, I can respect that. You too, E?
I didn't get to. I didn't get to really.
That's too E. That's too E. That's okay. Listen, man. We're gonna do it. I don't know how we're gonna do it. Hey, we're gonna do it. No analysis, baby. Go blue.
All right. That was nasty. With that being said, this is Enter the Lab podcast presented by the Red Zone DC Media on our new channel. Click like, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter and many other platforms. This is Enter the Lab podcast. We're about to watch Baltimore take on the defending Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all stay safe. Have a blessed night.
Hey.
Peace out.
My fault. What happened? I'm eating Popeye.
This man says he's eating some Popeyes. Commercial.
Ready for a break.
Save this clip.
Wipe your hands. Wipe your hands. And then
Commercial.
We over here about to die first over here.
Thing on the menu today, bro, and that's work. That's work for 60 minutes, bro. That's the only job we got to do today, bro. What you playing for? What you playing for? What you playing for? What y'all